We're still watching our three systems in the Atlantic Basin. Good Tuesday, I'm Mike Nasa with the latest on the tropics. Fred made landfall as a mid-range tropical storm on the Florida Panhandle near Cape San Blas, and it's moving inland now over Georgia, interacting with that troughiness, spreading heavy rain all the way up towards the Appalachians. We'll talk about Fred. We have Grace down here dumping very dangerous flooding rains on areas of Haiti as well as Jamaica, and it's going to head for the Caymans and Mexico. We'll talk about that. And Henri over here is trying hard, but still getting a little sheared, and it's near the island of Bermuda. We'll talk about Henri as well. Let's start with Fred since it's over the United States. There's the center very near Atlanta, and it's moving on off towards the northeast. No longer a tropical storm with advisories being issued or anything, but still a lot of moisture here spreading all the way up into the Carolinas. Very cloudy, miserable day, all the way from New England back down to Georgia, and then all the way around to the Ohio Valley, the Carolinas, all because of Fred and that front that it's interacting with. You can see the rainfall here. We could still see areas 2, 4, 6 inches between Chattanooga and Knoxville. Charlotte, Roanoke, you guys are going to get in on some of it, all the way up here towards Syracuse into Vermont, to say nothing of West Virginia and Pennsylvania. So a very rainy next 48 to 72 hours as we try and get Fred out of here. There's the radar imagery, and you can see it's close. The center, or what's left of the center, is very close to Atlanta, and a lot of that heavy rainfall spreading inland now over areas of Tennessee and North Carolina. So that'll do it for Fred. It never really strengthened into a hurricane like it could have. It didn't become the monster it could have. Hispaniola really saved South Florida and the Gulf Coast on that one at the expense of the heavy flooding rains. Now we go down to Grace as of 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Grace was at 18.3 north, 76.8 west, winds of 50. It's moving west at 15. It's about, say, 75 miles east of Montego Bay, Jamaica, and we do have the threat here that this thing is going to go right over or scrape the island of Jamaica, then the Caymans, become a hurricane, and hit the Yucatan Peninsula, and then move into the Gulf and become a hurricane or a stronger hurricane and slam into northern Mexico or even the mid-Mexican coast. You can see there's no cone here for the United States because the high pressure is so dominant to the north of it. It's going to keep Grace going straight west. Nevertheless, that is a problem for Mexico, and we do have a lot of watches and warnings, pardon me. We have a hurricane watch in effect for the Yucatan Peninsula from Cabo, Catoche to Punta, and we have a tropical storm warning in effect for Jamaica, the south coast of Cuba, the provinces of Santiago de Cuba, Granma, Las Tunas, and we also have the Cayman Islands under that tropical storm warning. And we now have a tropical storm watch for the entire coast of Haiti, those southern Cuban provinces of Sancti, Spiritus, Cienfuegos, and Ciego de Avila, as well as Pinar del Rio, and that includes the island of, they used to call it the Isle of Youth. They call it the Isla de la Juventud, I guess. I'm trying, guys. It used to be called the Isle of Youth. I don't know when they changed that. We have this hurricane watch here for the Yucatan, as I mentioned, because it is going to become a hurricane before making landfall, and we'll likely see hurricane watches go up for mainland Mexico on the Gulf side before too long. Here's the latest visible satellite imagery of our tropical storm Grace. Look at these clouds here. This is rainfall over Haiti. Now, Haiti doesn't have a radar I could look at. The Jamaican radar is down. The Cayman Islands doesn't have a working radar. So we don't have any radars in these impoverished nations to look at to help forecast where these things are and the flooding rains. And that does not help when you're dealing with these impoverished nations that get these mudslides and flooding rains. You know, it would be nice to have a working radar right now to see where exactly the center is. We think it's right about in here, moving on off towards the west. So again, it is getting better organized. Once it clears land entirely over the Caribbean, we will likely see strengthening. You can see the forecast models don't stop taking Grace west all the way into the eastern Pacific. So it looks like if you're in the United States, be thankful of this high pressure heat dome that's going to be scorching you, because if it weren't there, if we had another trough coming down, we'd see Grace pull right on up like we saw Laura last August. There's another view of the models. Some of them, look at the UK Met, this blue line down here, taking it all the way down near Chetumal and then down into Veracruz. That would be a very far south track, and that is possible. We could see a little southern dip there towards the end. So Grace is really going to bury herself down in Mexico. It could be a powerful hurricane on that side. Look at this simulated radar from the HWRF model as of 6Z. The 12Z is rolling out. It looks kind of similar so far. Has it as a Category 4 hurricane very, very near Tampico, Mexico, and that would be a very powerful hit there on the Mexican coastline. As far as the waters, no problem. Wind shear, very, very low, and ahead of it is looking decreasing wind shear values there. So it looks like all systems are go for Grace once it moves past Jamaica to strengthen, and it'll probably be a hurricane before the Yucatan. So we'll keep tabs on Grace. The key messages as of 11 a.m. Number one, heavy rainfall. Haiti, Cuba, Jamaica, the Caymans, and northern Yucatan. You guys could have flooding. The potential for mudslides highest in Haiti and Jamaica. Number two, tropical storm conditions over Jamaica tonight and over the Cayman Islands later today and tonight. And then those will spread to the southern coast of Cuba today, westward throughout the southern coast of Cuba throughout Wednesday morning. And number three, there is an increasing risk of wind, rainfall, and storm surge on the Yucatan Wednesday night and Thursday. They'll probably update that watch to a hurricane warning for that area later today. By the way, for our Spanish-speaking residents down there in Mexico, this is for you guys if you want to pause it in case you need to see those warnings and you don't speak any English. Tropical storm Henri as of 11 a.m. Is at 30.4 north, 64.3 west. Winds of 50. It's moving west-southwest at 6. Expected to turn back west and then kind of loop around here. Bermuda, you're still under a tropical storm watch. It does appear as though those tropical storm force winds are in such a tiny area, they're not impacting the island. But if it expands in size or gets too close, you guys could get buffeted there. There's the satellite imagery. And again, it is still getting sheared, and you can see that's why it's kind of flat here on the western side of the circulation. But overall, I'm impressed with that eastern side. Look at the beautiful fanning out here, and Henri's trying hard. If it gets in a better environment of wind shear, don't be surprised if it strengthens more than forecast. Not expected to become a hurricane yet, but keep an eye on it. It's August, and it's spinning out there. The model guidance. Most of the models keep it away from land. There are a couple here that want to go to Connecticut or Massachusetts. The UK Met very close to Maine there. We'll keep an eye, but right now it appears as though it should leave the island of Bermuda and then slide between Bermuda and the eastern seaboard. So high swells, we'll keep an eye on it, but nothing there right now. So that'll do it for the tropics. We have Fred still pulling on off towards the northeast. Once we get that out of here, high pressure to the north of the Gulf Coast there. We'll keep Grace spinning right into Mexico as a hurricane, it looks like, still dropping heavy rain in the Caribbean. And then we have Henri getting sheared here, but looping around Bermuda and probably heading out to sea. So our 1, 2, 3 systems, the one to be concerned with the most is obviously Grace, forecast to be a hurricane and hit Mexico. Off the screen, you see on the way far left side of your screen, that donut is still Hurricane Linda, still a potent hurricane, and is forecast to continue to move out to sea and not bother anybody. So that's it on the tropics. I'm Mike Naso, and we'll keep an eye on Grace over the next couple of days. If you're in Mexico, batten down the hatches.